I shall wear a crown. I shall wear a crown.
When it's all over. When it's all over.
I shall see his face. I shall see his face.
When it's all over. When it's all over. I'm going to put on my robe and tell the story how I made it over. I'm going to put on my robe and tell the story how I made it over. I'm going to put on my robe and tell the story how I made it over. I'm going to put on my robe and tell the story how I made it over. I'm going to put on my robe and tell the story how I made it over. I'm going to put on my robe and tell the story how I made it over. I'm going to put on my robe and tell the story how I made it over. I'm going to put on my robe and tell the story how I made it over.
Soon as I get home, yes. Soon as I get home, well, soon as I get home.
As I went down. Okay. Children. We can skip the children. Okay. As I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sisters, let's go down to the river to pray.
You're welcome to sing along.
As I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way.
Oh, yes, now.
Oh, brothers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, brothers, let's go down to the river to pray. As I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, mothers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, mothers, let's go down to the river to pray.
evening. Please rise in body or spirit. Join me in our opening hymn, which is number 1020, Wo Ya Ya, in your teal hymnal. And of course, the lyrics are on the screen. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Please be seated.
When the world's violence shatters the joy of a moment, we pause and reach out for the hands that remain. We open our hearts with love.
When despair rises as a monster from the deep and drags down one of our own, our answer is that we open our hearts with love.
When hatred and anger rage and fire and suffering, we bend to pick up the wounded, to bind ourselves, and we open our hearts with love.
Hatred never ceases to be hatred, but by love alone can be healed. This is the truth we affirm. We live with courage and with a wider and wider circle of that force that bends our lives to one of mercy, justice, and compassion. We open our hearts with love.
It's the truth. Just by being born, you are loved. There is something within you and every person that can be loved. We open our hearts with love.
In love, we pray for those family, those individuals, all the persons here and everywhere who are desperately sure that there's not enough love in the world for them to have some, who are desperately sure that they do not matter.
In love with life, in love with the beloved, we turn to answer that desperation with assurance. You are loved, you are lovable, we will and do love you. Now attend to your life's work to love. It's the only legacy that matters. May the flame of our chalice serve as a call to remember the liberating power of love. May we be carriers of its light, of radical welcome and warmth into wholeness, into the one circle of life. Good morning. Welcome to this Sunday service of the Inner River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship here in Durham, North Carolina. My name is Reverend Daniel Trollinger, Executive Minister here, and whoever you are, whoever you love, whatever your race or gender identity, wherever you are on your spiritual journey and your search for truth and meaning, we welcome you here. If you're new to this community and visiting for the first or second time, we invite you to rise and embody your spirit so that we may give you a warm ERUUF welcome. If you're watching on the live stream, please introduce yourself in the chat. Thank you for choosing to spend your Sunday morning with us. If you have children or youth with you, they are invited to attend one of our religious exploration classes when the children are sung out after the time of all ages. Fellowship hour is in the fellowship hall with coffee and tabling right after the service. Special music today is provided by the Maudlin Brothers and the Sirens. Thank you. Now would be a good time to silence or turn off any devices you might have on your person. And let us center and take a breath together and welcome the gifts of this day. Now, let us welcome Peggy Schaefer, who will be sharing about the ERUUF Refugee and Immigration Action Group. Welcome, Peggy.
Hi, good morning. I'm Peggy Schaefer, and I'm here today to tell you a little bit about our Refugee and Immigrant Action Group. On behalf of ERUUF, we build relationships and support refugees and immigrants in our community. We also make our voices heard in support of these new neighbors. We work with local partners like CWS, a refugee resettlement agency, the Judea Reform Congregation here in Durham, and grassroots organizations like El Centro Hispano. We strive to ensure that our efforts are strategic and are part of the broader community, not charity that benefits a single individual or family. Our involvement can be one-time or ongoing. We advocate with our elected representatives, here we are writing postcards, through the UU Justice Ministry of NC and the UU Office of Social Justice in Washington, D.C. And we have recently met with the staffs of both of our North Carolina senators to urge them to support the Afghan Adjustment Act. Some other activities are setting up apartments for newly arrived refugee families, something we do several times a year, and many of you have contributed, I know. We help newcomers navigate the healthcare system. We assist with school registration, tutoring, helping using public transportation, getting employment, and tutoring for driver's license or other certifications. In fall of 2021, ERUUF co-sponsored 3 Afghan families, a total of 16 people. These 3 families all quickly became self-supporting, and one of them has just moved from their rental to a home they own in Burlington. And we have supported the arrival of 2 new babies since these families came. One family came with 3 children, which we thought was a nice small family, until we learned that they had left their other 3 children behind in Kabul because there were only 5 seats on the plane. So we began helping them with the legal process to reunite with their kids, and one of our ERUUF families has stepped up to sponsor and lead that effort. We have also formed a subgroup called the Latin American Migrant Justice Team, focused on understanding and supporting our many new neighbors from Central and Latin America. We're trying to learn more about where they have come from and why they are coming here. This group meets regularly and will be hosting a lunch and learn here on January 28th, and also planning a week-long trip to Central America this September to study the root causes of migration with our partner, the Cristo Sal College of Social Justice in Honduras. And we invite anyone who's interested in any of our efforts to catch us after the service at our table today in the Fellowship Hall, or send us an email anytime at refugeejustice@eruuf.org. We'll gladly add you to the Google group that we use to share updates about our activities. Just one more thing to add. The 3 children left behind in Kabul are now 17, 14, and 11, and they're staying at an uncle's home in Pakistan awaiting final notification, we hope very soon, that their visas have been approved by the U.S. Embassy. This legal process has been tedious and arduous. Funds that were generously donated by ERUUFians back in 2021 will cover most, if not all, of their airfare to RDU. So thank you, ERUUF, for all you do to support newcomers in our neighborhoods.
Would anyone like to come down and join me for the story today? Come down. Come on down, come on down. Perfect. Hello, everyone. We have so many friends this morning. Thank you for being here with me. All right, I'm going to do my best to show the pictures all around, but you can also look up at the screen if you don't get to see it, okay? Today we are reading a book all about how loving yourself spreads out and impacts those around you as well. So we're going to see how Mr. Tiger learns to love himself and how that helps all of his friends. This story is Mr. Tiger Goes Wild, and it is written and illustrated by Peter Brown. Everyone was perfectly fine with the way things were. Everyone but Mr. Tiger. See him right there? Mr. Tiger was bored with always being so proper. Good day, Mr. Tiger. Good day, Mr. Deer. Lovely weather we are having, I suppose. Indeed. Now, children, please do not act like wild animals. Says the hippo? Is she not an animal? He wanted to loosen up. He wanted to have fun. He wanted to be wild. Have you ever felt like you couldn't be who you were in a situation? Right? Sometimes we are in places where we don't feel like we can be ourselves. That's how Mr. Tiger's feeling right now. Let's find out what he does. And then one day, Mr. Tiger had a very wild idea. What's he gonna do? What's he doing? Walking around on all fours? How dare he? He felt better already, right? It feels good to be yourself. Mr. Tiger became wilder and wilder each day. Rawr! Look at him being a tiger, right? He's being true to himself. His friends did not know what to think. Peculiar. Wow. Unacceptable. Right? He's being himself, and they don't quite know how to feel. How do we think they're going to react? And then Mr. Tiger went a little too far. No clothes! What's he doing? What's everyone else going to think? His friends had lost their patience. Mr. Tiger, if you must act wild, kindly do so in the wilderness. What a magnificent idea! So, Mr. Tiger ran away into the wilderness, where he went completely wild. Roar! He's being a tiger. He has so much space. He can be himself. He's not having to wear clothes or walk on 2 feet. But Mr. Tiger was lonely. He missed his friends. He missed the city. He missed his home. So Mr. Tiger decided to return. Do you think that took a lot of bravery? Yeah, I would be kind of scared to go back to a place where they told me to go away. But let's see what happens. And he found that things were beginning to change. What? We see animals walking around on 4 legs. Some are still walking around on 2. This little fox is even wearing a pink shirt. Things are getting really crazy there. Let's see. Now, Mr. Tiger felt free to be himself. And so did everyone else. The end. So Mr. Tiger was brave enough to be himself, and what happened to all the other animals? They became like him, right? They felt brave enough to be themselves as well. So his love of himself spread out and impacted his whole community. Thank you so much for reading this book with me today. We are going to head out to the courtyard to meet our teachers.
Rise in body or spirit. We are going to sing hymn number 1023 in the teal hymnal, Building Bridges, and we're going to sing it in a round. And the words are also on the screen, so you don't really even need your hymnal. We'll sing it all the way through once, and then we'll split the sanctuary in half, and then this side will begin and this side will follow. Okay? So let's sing it together once. Thank you. Now if you would please turn and greet your neighbor.
I'm a being that likes to know the answers, especially during these societal times of questionable truths. My Christian upbringing demanded that I demonstrate love by treating others as I wanted to be treated. I forgive those who abuse me and turn a battered cheek despite the chance that I may be struck again. A truly tall order. Whether or not I agree with this edict as a heart-centered mystic, I find it really easy to love, and I consider it the core of who I strive to be. When I say love, I'm not talking about that generic, flowery feeling you quickly get when something about someone reminds you of that which you like in yourself or an endeared family member or friend. I'm referring to that gut-level, visceral response that happens when you truly see the spirit of someone despite their human flaws or imperfect condition, and are still able to bask in a splendid essence that even they may fail to see in themselves. I consider my ability to do this a divine gift and try to nurture it by choosing to give people the benefit of the doubt, long past when it's practical, and opening myself to the why of a person's actions instead of strictly focusing on ill behavior. At times, it's even enough to make me feel a little exceptional. That is, until I realize my ability to love with abandon dries up quicker than a drop of water on the pavement in July, the second I no longer feel safe. That reality led me to contemplate why all the passion and power I feel as a result of love could change so quickly that I instantly shut down or become incensed. When considering the spiritual connection between fear and love, I was reminded of Marianne Williamson, who stated that love is what we are born with. Fear is what we learn. The spiritual journey is the unlearning of fear and prejudices and the acceptance of love back into our hearts. Love is the essential reality and our purpose on earth. To be consciously aware of it, to experience love in ourselves and others, is the true meaning of life. A Course in Miracles says that there are only two emotions, love and fear. That fear is the absence of love, the way that darkness is the absence of life, of light. That all loveless emotions are simply a product of fear. Now, let's be honest, we could debate whether or not love and fear are the only two emotions all day long, or at least I could. After all, for someone like me who often plays devil's advocate, my biggest internal struggle is between what I feel and what I think. To question what is my truth versus the truths I have been taught or programmed to believe. As a result, I'm someone who hesitates to act a certain way just because a text or a leader tells me to. But what I know is that I never feel more warm. I never feel more alive or complete than when I am giving or receiving love. That is what makes me want to embrace instead of pushing away. That I want to forgive instead of holding grudges. And that the accompanying peace feels better than the opposing turmoil that surrounds the darkness of fear. So whether it be as a sacred act or the desire to experience pleasurable human feelings, I choose love as the guiding light of what I want to do and who I choose to be. Not because a scripture, text, or person says I must, but because loving is attached to everything that my inner knowing says is good to me, good for me, and to the benefit of all that surrounds me. Because when I love, there is no room for fear.
Please join me now in the spirit of meditation and prayer. Spirit of life, this morning as we gather to listen, to share, to learn from one another, we ask that our minds be open, our hearts welcoming, and our arms embracing. With a spirit of gratitude, we celebrate the joy of being in community. May we always work to offer a place of belonging for all who come, to feel a part of something greater. At times when life pulls us off balance, let us pause, find our center, and return again to the heart of compassion. It is our work shared with each other in covenant that creates and sustains this beloved community. As a people who care for one another, we lift up all of our prayers and blessings. And we hold in our hearts Mary Lacombe, who is in the hospital at UNC. No visitors at this time. Cards are welcome. We hold in our hearts Lisa Jones as she prepares for knee surgery tomorrow. We hold in our hearts all children everywhere, that they may know healing and support. We hold in our hearts all those whose lives are touched by sadness or illness, by worry or loneliness. May they find comfort, hope, strength. We remember during times of deep concern our commitment as Unitarian Universalists to side with love, to center our hearts upon the world we are aiming to create. The light of this faith lives on in us together in our hearts, minds, bodies, and spirits. We are building a new way, and love is the seed. As we answer the call of love, we give thanks for the many ways we can find a sense of a connection and fellowship here. And on this day, let us pause in this sacred moment, center in the heart, offer our prayers, and breathe in silence. May it be so. Amen. Ashe, and blessed be.
Yes, there's love like a river. soul, in my soul. Makes me love everybody. Yes, I love everybody. I love everybody. In my soul. Well, I love everybody. Yes, I love everybody. Everybody in my soul, in my soul. Yes, there's love like a river. I've got love like a river. Love like a river in my soul. Well, there's love like a river. Yes, there's love like a river. I've got love like a river in my soul, in my soul.
To some of us, the turn of the new year involves watching the ball drop in New York City, or the giant acorn drop in Raleigh, or our heads drop on the pillow at 9 p.m. Regardless, the promise of a new year brings an opportunity to begin again, to face and even embrace change. It is a time to gather the gifts of the past year, lessons and challenges, and look forward to the new year with goals and intentions. Social scientists who study human behavior note that the likelihood of a goal coming to fruition is a zillion times more likely if it is written down. On a practical level, this sounds great. Write down a few changes we would like to make for the new year. What would this look like for you? There is a challenge goal I set for myself that I would like to learn something new in 2024. I invite you to consider this also. Not a new recipe or a song, but something unfamiliar, moving beyond the known. I plan to take a deep dive into learning about artificial intelligence. How to utilize the new AI tools that seem to come out every day and discern what, if any, usefulness this may have for the spiritual journey. I'll get back to you on what I discover. The ERUUF worship team had a planning retreat this week, and Reverend Jacqueline's device randomly would start talking to her about things that she said. At one point, there was a query around the table about a unique type of musical instrument and who in the triangle area might be able to play this. Out of nowhere, the computer started speaking, and we all laughed, thinking the AI had found a musician. It had turned out not. So at least for the moment, we won't be replaced by robots. Well, what might you consider as a goal for the new year of learning something new? What would you like to explore or discover? When you're ready, remember to write it down. In addition to this goal, I have created a reading list for myself. Fiction, nonfiction, gathering information from books and films and podcasts is a way for us to expand our horizons of thinking beyond the echo chamber of what we already know. Here are two from my list. One is a book recommended to me called Trust by Herman Diaz. It's a genre-bending, time-skipping story that is one of Barack Obama's favorites and winner of a Pulitzer Prize in 2022. On the nonfiction side, also recommended to me is The Comfort Crisis, embrace discomfort to reclaim your wild, happy, healthy self by award-winning journalist Michael Easter, not by Mr. Tiger. So in part, for me, 2024 will be about learning something new and also discovering ways to move beyond my comfort zones. My list of goals is quite full for the year, and it includes collaborating with you in the work of shared ministry here. Even though we are each on our own solo journey, we are not alone because we're all in this together. We need each other to co-create a different future. In our work for justice and equity, what do we wish to engage to make the world a better place? This can seem daunting when faced what is challenging in the world right now, from weather disasters and climate crisis to human conflicts and ongoing wars, systemic oppression, democracy on the run. The world needs healing on so many levels. And we care about all of it, and sometimes it's hard to have the bandwidth to take it all in. In the face of the difficulties of the world, feeling overwhelmed at all the things we see and hold on our hearts, when we don't know what to do or how to be with it, one simple choice to make is to hold our loved ones close and hold our values close. This first step can be a goal for 2024, how to care for the people in our lives and how to live our values. This is one way to begin seeing love as spiritual practice. How do we show up? How do we talk to others and ourselves? How do we express care? How do we seek to create change in the world? How do our values come to life? Love as spiritual practice. Another way of coming at this is to meet the question head on, and even before coming up with an action plan, to pause, go within and listen. To prompt ourselves with questions for reflection like, what are my core values? What am I called to do? How am I called to be? If nothing else is on your goal list for the year, what would it be like to cultivate a simple listening time? A space of quiet reflection, non-doing. 5 to 10 minutes a day. Now, some might call this meditation, but maybe calling it listening time takes some pressure over how to do it right. What are you doing over there? I'm just listening. Now, anyone with children will immediately see this as a near impossible task. I feel you. When my children were younger, I would have to consciously carve out times for this in the in-between spaces, like driving in the car after dropping them off to soccer or school or this or that, walking at night or early in the morning, even briefly stepping off the carousel of daily routine can be a rich resource to access our inner strength and wisdom. Listening time. You can even extend this to having listening time with someone close to you. This is a fruitful practice. How does love listen? Preoccupied, scrolling on the phone, talking constantly? Does love laugh, cry? Does love get curious and lean in? When we embody love not just as an emotion, but as a way of being, how do we listen? How do we speak? Recognizing how we are with one another in the practice of love is a powerful and transformative act. Author James Baldwin writes, "The longer I live, the more deeply I learn that love, whether we call it friendship or family or romance, love is the work of mirroring and magnifying each other's light. Gentle work, steadfast work, life-saving work, and those moments when life and shame and sorrow occlude our own light from our view, but there is still a clear-eyed, loving person to beam it back. He writes, in our best moments, we are that person for another. In our best moments, we are that person for another. Love calls us to be that mirroring and magnifying presence for one another. And if we're thinking about goals, dreams, and hopes for 2024, what does love ask of each of us in this year, this month, this moment? Let's pause and listen. Allow, notice the call of love. With practice, listening time may grow longer than 5 or 10 minutes. Resting in stillness is a way to kindle the heart of inner wisdom, to restore balance to our inner and outer life. At the 9 a.m. contemplative service each week, we seek to embody this essence of listening stillness, to create an intentional space of reflection. In this, co-creating this, we are reminded of the power of who we are together, grounded in shared commitment for the search of truth and meaning and for our work in the world. In the language of the UUA Revised Article 2, love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. We are accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. Love is the power that holds us together. One of the ways the ERUUF staff practice the spiritual discipline of love is in a monthly staff chapel led by one of the ministers. Through song, story, ritual, reflection, readings, we take time out of the daily work routine each month and create a sacred circle of sharing. Recently at Staff Chapel, we completed a process that we had begun at an all-staff retreat. We reflected on gifts we wished to share one another on the staff team and within this entire ERUUF community. We then created simple prayer ties that we wrapped carefully in a collective and colorful ritual with yarn to create a prayer stick that held all of our intentions and blessings. This stick now takes turns in different offices to share the blessings and remind us of our shared commitment to work together with intention and gratitude. Spiritual practice as a team helps us connect our work together in a deeper way. Now, setting goals is more than just a New Year's activity. Living with intention is a way of being. It is a way to keep us connected and accountable for how we wish to live with purpose, how we choose to be together. We may hold individual goals, and as a community, we hold collective commitments about how we wish to be in the world. UU Minister Reverend Scott Taylor writes, often we think of choosing our social justice or social service commitments, but isn't there also a sense in which they choose us? For instance, we're reading the paper and suddenly a story breaks our heart. We didn't choose that. It happened to us. It called to us. Something clicked and we found ourselves being lured to expand our concern, our love. Somehow we didn't feel called to serve needs. We didn't just feel called to serve needs greater than our own. No, suddenly we experienced those needs and pain of others as our own. What does love call us together as a community? Yes, we have a multitude of programming this coming year, like on Saturday coming up, the Spiritual Practices Retreat. Yes, the strategic plan and the theory of change will guide our work. But how are we called to be together. Someone from the community attending a workshop here recently commented that this place is a beacon of light in the triangle. What light are we radiating out to the world? This doesn't just happen, it takes commitment to learn, to grow, and live our communal values, to racial justice and anti-oppression, to environmental justice and ongoing care for the earth, to transgender inclusion and awareness, to work for LGBTQ rights and to protect democracy and the right to vote, to advocate for immigrant and refugee support, affordable housing, living wage, to support the marginalized, oppressed, disenfranchised locally, nationally, and globally, to be radically welcoming, and to embody as community that cares for one another and the world, to embody in active ways that care always grounded in love. Love is the power that holds us together. I invite you to think of examples here of working together with love to create something meaningful as community. I'm reminded of just last week, the Kwanzaa Karamu, cooking, serving, cleaning to serve hundreds of people after a moving Kwanzaa celebration service. I'm sure you can think of examples too. Sometimes, though, in a world full of increasing uncertainty, talk of love can seem insubstantial, insufficient to change what seems like immovable structures in our society: systemic oppression, institutional racism, economic disenfranchisement, environmental degradation, and so on. How can love make a difference? This is where we can learn from inspired leaders who catalyze change through their work grounded in love. During the civil rights movement, despite teaching on the power of love and nonviolent resistance in the face of fierce opposition, at times people around Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said it was time for a different approach, yet he steadfastly held this conviction in the power of love as an ethic, grounded in faith, not just as a tactic to get demands met. The change he sought was a bigger vision for the world, a transformation of hearts. A transformation of hearts so that all people could come together and be free. Liberating love. The present day and long-term impact of racial inequity, settler colonial oppression, and white supremacy culture has had a devastating impact on this culture and beyond. This must change. How? How to change something that is so pervasive and seems so intractable? Right. This is where the spiritual grounding comes in. The solution isn't out there somewhere, it's inside. Yes, of course, action is needed, but if we are grounded in the shallow soil of political or ideological side-taking, what kind of world does that create? This is where Dr. King and wise leaders remind us of the need for deeper roots. The choice is not whether to change, but whether we wish to create the future with intentions grounded in the transformational power of love, or continue to perpetuate the old paradigms of privilege and inequity. The need for deeper spiritual roots in our justice work calls us to tend to the inner work of transformation. There is a lot we can do and must do. With love at the center, how can we find ways to work together, communicate with compassion, and explore workable solutions? So let's imagine or reimagine a sustainable future, a relationship with the earth that is in balance, a world that values justice and equity, a future guided by compassion and hope. Even in the face of all of the challenges in the world right now, the future is not yet written. We are writing it right now. Engaging in love as spiritual practice changes how we relate to the world. If we see the world divided into categories of us versus them, the process of othering creates separation, which only perpetuates suffering. When we can learn and practice ways to bridge that separation, then we are transformed by the call of love. When we practice offering compassion for all beings, then we awaken a power that can transform our very way of being in the world. Who we are and how we are matters. Each and every one of us is needed on this planet and in this spiritual community. To build beloved community requires work and practice and returning in love again and again. This is how liberating love works. It activates a well of deep wisdom within to awaken us to the expansive potential of love. How do we engage the liberating power of love in a world of ever-increasing uncertainty and complexity? Take time to listen. Choose to be open, curious, and prepared to learn something new. Live with intention grounded in our values. Engage love as spiritual practice. Love that invites us to hold compassion and hope close. Love that propels us forward to do and be in new ways. Love that calls us to set each other free. May it be so. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be. It is now time for the offering, a time of generosity and gratitude. Please place your tangible gifts in the plate as it is passed around, or point your device at the large QR code on the screen and go from there. Thank you for your ongoing support and generosity.
I'm rolling through this unfriendly world. 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 through this unfriendly world. I'm rolling, I'm rolling through this unfriendly world.
We give thanks for all the gifts that support the building and sustaining of this beloved community, and the gift of music for sure. Wendy will now lead us in our closing hymn.
Please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing hymn number 1017, Building a New Way. And the lyrics are on the screen. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We can work it to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate and greed and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, the world would die. Peace and freedom is our cry. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way.
Our closing words today come from Ahmed Safi. Go, be your best self, be your most beautiful self, be your luminous self, be your most generous self, be your most radically loving self. And when you fall short of that, as we do, as we all have, bounce back again and return again. There is grace in this returning to your luminous self. Go in peace, go in love.